battery's dying. Okay, so give me a possible structure for level 3. Possible structure for level 3.
Had seen. They had seen, sorry.
Had seen?
They had verb.
Oh yeah, on visto. Sure, had seen. Sure, that's something that you teach in level 3?
We have a lot.
Great. Okay. So if you're teaching had seen, what would you be teaching? Here's my question. If you whatever structures you just picked for your level 1, level 2, or level 3, what can you use of whatever level you decide in the story that you just wrote?
Is that a rhetorical question?
No, it's not a rhetorical question. I'm asking you to decide what structures you're going to teach. Don't decide based on the story. You can decide this is the story I'm in, this is what I want to teach, and then you have to make your structures fit into the information that you have. Okay, what are you deciding? Is this going to be a level 1, level 2, or level 3 story? All I'm trying to do is help you make the connection. This isn't random questions. However, on a Monday, I'm going to go in and say, what did you do this weekend? I'm going to gather some information, and that may not turn into the story for Monday. That might be Tuesday's story. But I know that somebody went to a party over the weekend or went to a baseball game over the weekend, and that's something that I can work into the story. All right? Okay, so part of it is managing your information. If I can manage some information to be able to talk about and create personalized stories, you can too. And the index cards help me if I need them. My biggest problem is not that I can't remember information, it's that I incorrectly attribute the information to someone else. So Carrie and Stephanie, 2 blondes sitting next to each other, best friends. I'm going to remember Carrie's information about Stephanie and Stephanie's information about Carrie, and then that doesn't feel good to them. So I really, really want to get it right, and that's how I straighten it out. Okay? Yes? Okay, what did you decide? Level 1, level 2, or level 3? Your group, what level is your story going to be at? 1, okay? 1 second. 1, 3, 3. What level is your story? 2. 1, 2, 3. Yes? You said 1? Can you guys all get together? Okay, 1, 2, and 3. However, I'm going to make you come up in front of the class. Okay? So, your level 3 story is going to go first. All right? Level 3, decide amongst yourselves who's going to teach and who's going to be the actor. So the actor has to be somebody who you know something about in the class. You have your story, right? Idea for a story. So we're talking about James and Lauren. Okay, so who wants to teach it? It has to be Kim or Stephanie.
Go, Stephanie.
Here's what we're going to do right now. They're going to come up here. They're going to do the story to the entire class. And then we're going to pause. And you all are going to practice and catch up on your sections in your group. Does that make sense? There are demo lessons. So the hardest lesson is going to go first. And then the other 2 are going to be easier. All right? Spinning a story on your feet involves what?
Failure.
Failure! No, that is not what I was going for. Spinning a story on your feet involves having a story arc. Having a story arc. What are we focused on? Does the content of the story matter? Not at all. all. It does not matter at all. The arc matters because when you start taking the story and going like this, you end up with random details. You're taking lots of answers. You feel like you lost control of the story. That's what you're trying to avoid. You got to hold your story arc. You need to hold your structures. Okay, these are the words I want to teach. Someone gives you an answer that takes you in a different direction, but is still able to keep you in your story arc. You're fine. You take the answer. If you can't take the answer, you take it. You listen to it. You say no. Right? Okay. You guys ready?
Recording this, and we're like on stage in front of everybody.
You gotta take a risk.
Then
You
John
just gotta
walks
take a
in.
risk. If you'll take a risk in front of your class, would you rather take it up here?
No, I'd rather go inside.
Really?
You can be the teacher.
Really? Really? Yes. Okay. Which one love language? What is it? What is it? Which one love language? Time. Quality time. Hey guys, everybody, can you focus on Kim? What she really needs right now is some love.
But that's
She's
at home with
really
my
no
family.
here. Kim.
There's stress in here.
Kim.
You can do it, Kim.
Kim, this is not
Got this,
real.
Kim.
It is.
We are about to
I'm
practice.
recording this thing.
So people can see it. It's,
I know.
It's just to make other, and like, so that everybody else can get an idea of how to do it. You want this, right?
Not right now.
Oh, okay. So Ann, you're in the class, you don't have to teach. If you don't want to do it, don't do it. We'll have somebody else do it. Really.
Be nice to me.
No, if you don't want to do it, you don't have to do it. Really. Do you want to do it? Do you not want to do it? No, tell me what to do. I promise I'll coach you through the whole thing.
Because here's the deal.
Okay?
We decided to do level 3 because I wanted to see some jumping.
You wanted to see it or you wanted to do it?
No, I want to see it.
Okay. All right.
Because this is something I really struggle with.
Okay, I'm gonna walk you through it, all right? And you tell me what happens in the story and I'll help you do it. You all are gonna do the same thing, but yours is clearly like your structures are gonna be easier, all right? You have decided on structures or? You decide on structures and yours just goes faster. All right, very first thing, who's our main character?
Lauren.
Oh.
Lauren's our main character or Jason's our main character? So, people have their actors come up here and stand and then they tell an hour-long story. I almost always put them up in a chair. They move if they need to, but in the meantime they can sit. It makes it a little less distracting and it makes it so that people they'll act if you let them sit down, right? Right? You and Joyce, Patrick and Joyce sitting down. Okay, so I have props. My story is going to start with complimenting her. Give me an idea. What are we gonna do? This is Lauren. Lauren is normal o es especial? She's normal or she's special? No, she is not special. She's very special. Es muy especial. That's it. Who does not teach Spanish? German? French. Two French. No, I'm kidding. I'm not going to try French. Okay. Es especial. That's the first thing. ¿Quién es más inteligente? Who is smarter? Albert Einstein or Lauren? Lauren es más inteligente. Lauren. Okay, can I stop you? No, Lauren. Lauren, help me here. What's this? E equals MC squared. Clase! Clase! Reacción. Lauren. 2 más 2 son 4. Clase! ¿Quién es más inteligente? Lauren. Okay, here's your list of things that you are going to do with your actor. In your group, teacher, actor, I just want you to catch up with me here. You're going to compliment your actor on all of the characteristics you can think of and then do compare and contrast. As you go through the year, you are going to have to do more and more complex structures. Level 1 is just going to do smarter, faster, stronger, prettier. Okay? Here's the rule in my classroom, so you can be really consistent in your comparisons with celebrities. If they speak Spanish, they are smarter, faster, better. Okay, so she speaks Spanish because she's in my class. So I compare to non-Spanish speakers. Who's smarter, her or Albert Einstein? Albert Einstein doesn't speak Spanish. Who's more attractive, Brad Pitt or Lauren? Sorry, I forgot I was talking to. Lauren or but Antonio Banderas, like that. Okay? So don't compare him to someone who speaks Spanish because Spanish speaking people are really attractive. Question.
So, we don't talk about.
Yep. Not yet. You do it every single time. And you can make it short. You can make it, so because after a while I can do cliff notes on this, like everybody knows she's smarter, faster, better, whatever. If I'm talking about her right now, going this story, I'm going to talk about her fashion sense. Who dresses better? Who's the fashion, like, make the runway person? Not very good looking, older, but really fashion. Come on. Okay, Project Runway. Project Runway. Tim Dunn? Gunn. Tim Gunn. Who dresses better, Tim Gunn or Lauren?
Lauren.
Right, you see where I'm going? So then I start getting details from that. Alright? So who's your teacher? You have a group of 5. Okay? Stand up, face your group. Who's your teacher? Who's your teacher? Who's that top? Okay, stand. You have exactly 1 minute to make your actor feel amazing, okay? Point your actor. Tell us they're not normal, they're special. Tell us they're not smart, they're smarter than Albert Einstein. Okay, you're gonna do it.
So what are our characters?
Okay, so just go ahead. So this is Lauren.
So, Lori is actually,
I think you're if you only have 3 seconds left, so compliment somebody already.
you can compliment anybody. We all are amazing.
So is that, is Ariel?
Juanes.
God, oh my God, my mind's going crazy. I always have a list on my board. Sophia Vergara? Yeah. Is she hotter than Sophia Vergara? She is. Are the boys attracted more to Sophia Vergara or to Ariel?
Okay, stop. You get the idea. First you bring the character up there. Now as we're developing the problem, we know one true thing about that character. We already in our groups know one true thing about that character, okay? What's our one true thing about Lauren? She's what? No. One true thing about Lauren that came from Lauren's actual facts. Okay, George Clooney. One true thing is that Lauren likes George Clooney, okay? Look, one true thing. We're not writing it down. Now, the 3 of you independently are going to think of one fact that is made up. That is not one true thing, that has to do with Lauren and George Clooney. The true fact is she likes George Clooney. The made up thing is a rumor. It's a scandal. It's background information. It's something you saw that no one else saw. It's something you know that you are going to share with the class. But you can only share that one truth, that one thing. You can't piggyback. You have to think of your one thing. Does this make sense? If we share, she likes George Clooney, and then Stephanie says, I saw them together last night at a restaurant, and Jason says, oh, I saw them too at the restaurant, and that George Clooney was the waiter. That's piggybacking, and that makes one storyline. If you each give one idea, now you have 3 ideas to start a story with. Does this make sense?
Does the actor have to confirm it in order to
No.
feel good about it?
We're brainstorming to start our story. Okay, George Clooney. Now the 3 of you by yourselves are going to think of one thing that is made up. Okay? One true thing. What are we talking about?
Ariel.
Ariel?
Ariel, like the one I just
They gotta like your voice.
Okay, she likes dogs, that's her one true thing. One true thing, Rachel likes dogs. Don't say anything, don't share anything, think of your idea.
Well, that's my thing.
Yeah, I don't know.
Actually,
Yeah.
how they hunt sons. I thought the record they were like, they'll see.
Oh, no, no, sure, yeah. If you think of the thing, think of the thing and let everybody have a chance to think. Don't say anything yet. You have to think of the thing before you share it, so you can't piggyback. You have to have an independent idea that doesn't depend on anyone else. Whatever your idea is right now, hold it. You got your idea? What's the one true thing?
She
about
likes
Ariel?
one.
She what?
She likes one.
Ariel likes oneness. That's your one true thing. Okay, now, what do you know? What rumors, what have you heard from someone else? What can you add that no one else would know? Okay, just think of it. You're gonna share it in a second. You ready? Everybody's thought of their thing? Okay, one true thing about Lauren. Lauren likes George Clooney. Kim, what's one thing that you can add to that that is a fact that is made up? One thing about that fact that is made up, a secret or false? George Clooney has a horse in Colorado. Okay, independent idea. No, it has to not connect.
Oh, it doesn't connect with
Oh, no, George
your
Clooney and Lauren. It doesn't connect to anything else. George Clooney, Lauren, that's your fact. Hold on, I want you to get this model right so you can see what to do next. Jason. She was in a movie of George Clooney, okay? You see how those things don't piggyback? They're two separate ideas.
Can I say I saw?
Sure.
I saw George Clooney look through her bedroom.
Okay, so what you have, what my point is if you listen to your students, you have 3 story ideas. If you only pay attention to what's in your head, you have 1. So listen for the answers and don't reject everything. What you have in your hand as your outline is not the best idea. It's just something to hold on to. It's your story arc, it's your vocabulary, all right? Okay, so when you're asking questions, you can go in any of those 3 directions. Kim, you have an idea for a story, right? You have your skeleton. Yeah, you have your skeleton. Okay, but now we just added George Clooney to the story. Can that change the story, add the story, enhance the story? Okay, which part?
that she has the opportunity to go in.
Okay, or that he was looking through the window? He was looking through her window, maybe he was like trying to see if she was,
Reject George and
maybe what?
because she doesn't know.
Oh, she doesn't love George Clooney, she's in love with the guy with the orange shorts, she can just fix this one thing about him. Okay, so you have an idea of where to start, like where your story could go, that did not come from your skeleton. Alright, I'm not
Do I
sure.
have to be thinking of my structures?
Yes, you have to be thinking of only one structure. What's your one structure? You can write it down or you want to remind yourself.
She wants something. So she wants to move the digital.
Okay, yeah, no, but now George Clooney is in the story. When you walk into the classroom, if you start with your,
She wants him to do something. That's
She wants that he goes.
if you decide just on the one story and you don't have, where's my questions slide? Okay, if you decide on just the one story direction and story detail, the one that you walked in with, you're gonna end up with kind of a boring story because it was already in your head, you already knew what you were doing. Instead, you want to be able to listen to them. Okay, so when you ask questions, be willing to take it in a different direction. They might have better ideas. Okay.
Am I going with my skeletal story or am I
You're
going
starting with your skeleton and you're adding those ideas that they added. Now you have 3 more ideas. All I'm trying to do is give you a place where you're not tied to your story. If you're gonna spin a story on your feet, you've gotta listen. Alright? So you've got ideas, you've got some places to start. You wanna ask a question, you know where you're starting your story, and if they start adding George Clooney details, it's fine.
I guess I'm confused where I am in all of this.
Start talking about your character.
But I mean, as a class, have we talked about George Clooney?
No.
That's my idea.
It's their idea.
Okay, where did that come from?
Hold on. Okay, first you're describing your character, which you've just done. The next thing is, Lauren, has a problem. That's the next one you're gonna say. Ariel has a problem. Rachel?
Rachel.
Rachel has a problem. That's where you start. What is her problem? And that's where you start talking, asking for ideas. Hey, Rachel has a problem. What's your problem? Ask your class, see what happens. You had a starter question. Ask your class, see what happens. Okay, Rachel has a problem. Get student response. Dun, dun, dun. Oh no, oh no. Whatever your student response is. All right? I'm only going to take you to has a problem. We'll do one step at a time. You set up your character, you compliment your character. Now what? Rachel. Good. Rachel has a problem. You have only one thing in your head is that structure. The structure you want to teach. Okay? Go ahead. You ask, she has a problem. Remember how we go back and forth between the class and the person, class and the person? I'll make the steps really small, okay? So just do this. Ariel has a problem. Turn to your class. Who has a problem?
What is her problem?
Rachel has a problem. What is it? Her problem. Search what she lost.
That's right.
Rachel has a problem.
They have no idea what search.
Nope. No, oh, you can use that true method. Just ask for the one.
Just one is reading the song.
Oh, you don't know.
Okay.
So,
Rachel.
Juanix is ready to start that. Okay, what is it? Juanix to ready to start.
Pokemon Go addiction. That's a problem.
What's the problem?
So I'm thinking, okay, so let's start.
You can just do piano and but maybe one is
Juanix writes songs. Juanix writes songs. Juanix writes songs about girls. Juanix can write stories about songs. Can Ariel write songs? Ariel can't write songs. Ariel can make hot
Well, I'm not thinking she has an addiction.
and attractive.
I'm just thinking.
Can
Okay,
Ariel?
stop please. This is what's happening with Kim right here. Lauren has a problem. What's her problem? She has a problem. On someone. On who? I just asked her and she said George Clooney. She has a crush on George Clooney. So their story was about Jesus in the orange shirt, right? And she has the skeleton idea for the story and she has vocabulary. She just wants to use participant, right? She wants that need, right? So now Jason becomes George Clooney. And now the stories emerge, she gets to talk about what she wants, and she's moving on to he wants her to, she wants him to, alright? What's next? You don't have to think, what's next? This is all you're doing, you're building your story right here. This is, you're talking about Rachel, ask the class. Sorry, Lauren, confirm with Lauren, ask the class. Okay, but hold on. What's happening here?
She has a Pokemon Go addiction.
Awesome. I was hoping that would come up. So Rachel has a Pokemon Go addiction, and that is your core problem. Okay, structure. Structure is Taylor Swift, Rachel, hiking, Taylor wants to write a song, right? That's what you walked in with? Taylor wants to write a song about a dog that lives in North Carolina. So you have an idea for a story, how does that change it? She has a Pokemon, can I stay with this? She's gonna go hiking, because I got that PQA information on Monday. I know she likes hiking, and we talked a little bit about how much she likes Taylor Swift. Can we still do it? Absolutely do. Where is she looking for Pokemon Go?
On the trail.
On the trail. Okay, so he's still taking information and ideas from the class and incorporating. So you're gonna go and ask the questions next. Your idea is, I have this vocabulary, I'm gonna grab my personalized information, keep it in the story, and follow this story arc. Problem, quest, solution. Character, problem, quest, solution. Yes? Okay, over here, what's happening?
One is right, or can't write, wants to write a story, or a song
Go back to the trip.
about me.
Yes.
But
The entire way.
that would be right.
We got the dog.
You want Juanes to write a story? That's subjunctive. So if you don't want to be subjunctive, no. If you don't want to be, if you want to, you can. If you don't want to do it, then what you're going to do is you're going to say, she wants to write a song. He doesn't want her to write a song. He wants her to write a song about him. She doesn't want like that. Really straight factual statements, right? He wants her to write a song, or he wants a song. He wants a song about him. He wants Sarah to write a song. So
Okay.
you break your sentences up into Dick and Jane sentences and you're fine. All right, are we ready? Stay right here. Your goal is to go from problem to quest. All you're trying to do is problem to quest. Does this make sense? Problem to quest, asking these questions. Focus on problem to quest and try to use the vocabulary that you decided with your target structure. Go ahead.
But we'll have to then, and then I can refer what they want.
Where is Ariel when she wants one to write a song? She's at home. Is she, how many people is she with? She wants, she's alone. Are you alone? Are you with a party?
Once a week, once
Is he handsome or is he like? Okay. 15 years earlier, okay. Okay, but what does one
Oh, I was going, you know where we're going.
Really? What's the quest? What's the need? What's the problem to solve? Pokemon Go addiction.
Oh, okay, I got the location.
Does Eliza want us to write a song about Ariel? Does Ariel want Juanes to write a song about?
Quest, what does she need? She needs Pokemon.
Where's Eliza?
Okay, what Pokemon does she
In the
need?
bathroom? In the bathroom at Ariel's house?
What Pokemon does she need?
I called,
Mewtwo? Does she need Mewtwo or does she need
Juanes to write a song about him.
I have to be. Where is
And how much do you want a lot, like this much?
Yes.
Whoa,
Okay,
whoa.
all right, we have a quest.
Trip.
We have a quest, we have a something we need, a problem we need to solve, a big, huge mission, yes? Yeah?
Very next question.
Yes. Get it?
Okay. Are we there? You have a quest? What does she need? What's gonna happen? What is the quest?
I'd say both go.
She's going to go for your quest. She wants to go out and work food. That's a quest? Okay. All right. In your story, if you want it to be active, you have to move. Okay? In your story, if you want it to be active, you have to move. So your quest is going to involve some motion towards a different location. Keep it in mind right now, because your quest, you're about to get your actress to get up and move, and you're going to coach that actress across the room. Hopefully not tripping. All right? Your quest involves movement. Yours does. Does
Can
your
I
quest
involve another student
Yes.
to be?
Yes. Does your quest involve movement?
Yes, we just want.
Where are you going? To find what you need. Where are you going?
This guy.
This
Juanes is
Juanes. This is Juanes. Okay. So when I go and I compliment characters and say, oh, he's like so handsome and he's so, I don't do that to the actors that they're the Juanes and that. I don't do that to famous people. I do it to us. So when you get to that part of the story where some celebrity comes in, you don't have to keep going. You don't have to going somewhere. Where are you going?
Blue Ridge Parkway.
Blue Ridge Parkway. So we still have personalized information, but we've so far lost Taylor Swift over here. It does not matter what's happening in your story. It doesn't matter if you stay with your skeleton, just that you don't have. What's your vocabulary? Lost?
And so, one ace says, because one ace is a good guy, one ace is a bad guy. Write songs about beautiful ladies.
Person?
Yeah.
I would say after.
Okay.
Just keep yourself
Okay,
in
okay, okay. So, do you want one ace to write a song about you?
Yeah.
Class, who comes knocking on the door at one ace's house? You're there. You're there. Who else comes knocking at the door? Liza. So Liza comes. Are you happy that Eliza comes knocking at the door? No, she is not happy. Why is she not happy that Eliza comes knocking at Liza's door? Why are you not happy? She goes and so. Right. Okay. So what do you want? Okay. Who wants?
She wanted
More.
George.
Who is more interested in one ace writing a song?
See her. She
Ariel,
wants-
of course Ariel wants.
She wants.
Because Ariel wants one ace to sing something to write a song with her. So,
Notice her, she wants George to talk to her, she wants George to ask her.
what does one ace want to do? Movie?
Yes.
You want to write the song
Forever.
forever.
She wants
I'll write this.
him to ask her
So-
on a date, but she wants him to.
Why does one ace like to write songs?
To be, she wants him to ask her on a date.
Is it because he can sing? He likes to romance women.
She wants
Which is clearly.
George to ask her on a date. She wants George to ask her on a date.
I actually have.
Can one
To ask her on a date, to ask me on a date,
about
George to ask me on a date. You do, or you want George to ask you on a date?
can he write? Can he sing about two women?
She goes to Hollywood, she
Does
goes to
Ariel want a song about two women? What does Ariel, what do you want, Ariel?
She sees him at the Starbucks, and she says,
But who else wants a song?
She says to George, I know,
Because I was hoping that the singing about two of them would be.
ask me out, yes or no? Did she say I want you to ask me out?
And she says, no, I don't want.
That's what happened, she sees George.
There we go, that's true, you know, but he writes a song about it.
Good idea, no. She says,
Write a song about two women.
she wants him to song about two brothers.
Does Ariel doesn't want a song about two
You're
women?
following instructions.
And one is write two different songs. One song about Ariel and one song about.
Repetitions on what she
And this is like.
right there. Now, what I just did. Who wants George to go to ask her? Just do what I said. Lauren. How are we doing?
Knowing full well we're gonna do more.
Here, Ariel goes to finance, then what?
They both want songs written about them. Each one. So one is says I'll write a song about both of you. And you're not happy. So the solution is one is can one is write a song about Ariel and can one is write a different song about
You can get to the solution by doing this. The problem is now your class is only one person, so you're down to like carry, it's all on you. All right, so Ariel wants a song and Eliza wants a song, right? That's where you are? And you're in the quest part, and you need to solve the problem? Where did you go to solve the problem? Okay, so, stop right here, because I want you to get the idea of if you ask the class, okay? I have an idea, and I know how to solve the problem. I can see the end of the problem. And I have the solution, can you?
I have an idea, but
Okay, try it.
say that Eliza and Ariel get together and write a song about belonging, like each song about one.
Great song, great idea.
I like that one.
Ariel kills a lot.
Okay, good idea?
I had the same result, that was my idea, great song.
And my idea is that Juanez writes one song and tells Ariel it's about her and tells Eliza it's about her.
Because my structures was loud, so she didn't need to get over it.
It was? Oh, you don't have to, it's really simple. Juanes tells Ariel, I wrote this song for you, and it can be a song you know, and the class knows, and then you go to Eliza. And then it's no, it's no, because all you have to do is listen to that. This one was extremely good, the first one you said was really good, so you just decided to turn right. If you get stuck, if you get stuck, you go, who has an idea, and you start taking questions, taking ideas, go back to your what do you think? Is that, what do you think? Is that a good idea? And then back to the class. Okay, what else could happen? You go back to get back to her, so she gets to control the motion and
So you said you go to character class, so do they count as class, or do they count as
okay,
parents?
who your main character, so your story's about. So have to do with one is because it's two. Okay, you can go to one and say, one is, do you want to write two songs, or you want to write one song?
I'll say yes, and that's where we want to go.
If you,
Yeah, too bad.
sure, you can overdo something like that. Yes.
Jerry's like the other night, or whatever, they're saying like
I don't. You can make exceptions at some point later, but don't. Stay in the room. Okay, you have 1 more minute to solve the problem. You will have to, between your character and your class, solve the problem. Okay. End of story. You solve the problem, end of story. Did you solve the problem?
Yeah.
What is it? You wrote 2 songs? That was your idea? That was your idea? No, my idea was one song, so tell you what was your idea?
Killed her, she had, you guys write the song
What was your
together.
idea?
that we get together and write a song.
About Juanes. Okay, so you can vote, you can say, he writes one song and tells them it's about that. And then you find out, and you write a song about him.
It's the number one on the board.
Oh, yeah. Okay, how are we doing?
I took the class,
Did it work? How did it work?
Yeah, so I think that
They work together, he writes the song. They write the song. That was changing the song.
Okay, here's what I want to know, because we only have a couple minutes left. Go ahead and sit down. Was the story in the end similar to your skeleton? Was it similar to your skeleton? Yes. The story was similar? Was it identical? All right, if your story is identical at the end to your skeleton, then what that means is that you didn't listen to your students. So that's what spinning a story on your feet is being willing to take their answers. So basically, this is what we're doing. You walk into your class with this idea, and they say this, or this, or this, or this. Most of them say this. And you all settle on this. So it's all of you coming from different perspectives, and you're not saying, no, your picture, in the picture you have in your head is not usable, but you saying, okay, we can come to an agreement on where the story's going. So when you walk in with a story skeleton, You're not committed to that story. You're committed to, I really would like to hit this structure. Now, that was your first attempt. That's first period. Second period, you walk in and you're like, okay, I had a skeleton. Wow, first period went a little bit better, but it wasn't perfect. And you take that same story and you do it again. Here's what I like to do. It does not matter if you're going Spanish 1, Spanish 2, Spanish 3, Spanish 4, French 1, French 4, and then French 3. I still use the same idea every day. Because if you're using skeletons and you're doing it on your feet, your idea is, you know what, I really want to get We Are the Champions into my story today, because it was at the Republican National Convention last night, and I want someone to be upset that someone else used their song, okay? So, We Are the Champions can be the song, and someone in my class is going to feel like they own that song, and someone else is going to steal their song. Not going to talk about Donald Trump, not going to talk about the Republican Convention, not even going to talk about Queen, but that's my theme, okay? One person steals the theme song from another person, all right? Make sense? That's the only idea I walk into, with, and then I know my structures are different from each class. How much planning am I doing every day? Hardly any, and that's where I save all my time, is that I continue to reuse those ideas, even though my vocabulary is still backward playing for my novel. Yes? I'm going to run out of time to give you the 7 story structures, and I kind of feel like it might confuse you. I'm going to show them to you and show you where to find them so that you can look at them later. But I'm just going to show them to you, and then I want to find out what questions you have and have you fill out your cards. Okay, that's the What did I just say I was looking for?
7 stories.
I just looked at all the slides and I'm like, I don't even think I really need those anymore. This is me trying to be funny in a much longer workshop. You're not missing anything. Oh, here we go. Okay, here are your 7 basic plots. Overcoming the monster. There is something that is the big problem that the character has to overcome. Can you think of any story in history that overcoming the monster is the theme? Harry Potter. Yeah, that probably is. The Hunger Games. Shrek. That one's really famous. Rags to riches. Cinderella and Aladdin are examples of rags to riches stories. That is your story arc. You know, okay, rags to riches is my arc. I'm going to use that. Remember, the motion in the story requires location. You're still going to start with this character, compliment your character. You have a problem, but the problem is going to be that they don't have something and then they become wealthy and then the quest. This is what we did. We did this storyline. Wizard of Oz, Lord of the Rings, Harry Potter, Indiana Jones. These are quests. Quest storylines. Voyage and return. You don't need to write all these down. I'm going to tell you where to find the line. Voyage and return. You can take pictures, but you don't need to, I promise. Voyage and return. The protagonist goes to a strange land and after overcoming the threat that poses to them returns with nothing but experience. Alice in Wonderland, Goldilocks, The Time Machine, Apollo 13, Finding Nemo, Gulliver's Travels. Any comedy is based on like the Shakespeare comedy structure, like 12th Night. It's just funny stuff. Tragedy. Macbeth is a tragedy. Rebirth. The Frog Prince, Beauty and the Beast, Christmas Carol. Protagonist is a villain or otherwise unlikable character. So you can have the bad guy become good by redeeming himself. Okay, but all you need right here is the link. You look up 7 basic story plots. 7 basic story plots on Google, and it comes up with a book and an article. 7 basic story plots, and that's all you need to Google, and then you can download it. All I did was steal it from the internet. But the easiest place to find it is Wikipedia. All right, so don't try and do 7 basic story plots. Pick one. Do that one over and over and over again. What you make up for what you end up not doing in planning and preparation in advance because you're gonna do stuff on your feet, you have to make accommodations, and your accommodations are, you're gonna start with really easy, as simple as you can do it, and just keep doing that until you feel comfortable with it. Add details, go back and forth and ask those questions, and so that you kind of train yourself to depend on your class for good ideas, right? Questions? Yes.
So going to my planning, I have two separate periods of Spanish one. One has the skeleton of, I'm just using this class as an example. Hiking, dog, Taylor Swift, and then boyfriend who wears ugly clothes you don't like. And we pick this, but I have an idea. I'm just saying those stories are way different.
Okay.
So when I write down my skeleton, so I don't write one for either period,
Great.
I'm just thinking I'm just trying to do it in the back of my mind. How would I write a skeleton that just works for school?
My skeleton is not gonna have Rachel goes hiking with Taylor Swift. It's gonna have, there's a girl who has to go find something, what was her vocabulary? And she loses it. And so she goes somewhere to find the thing that she lost, and then at the end she does, and everybody's happy. And then when I go into class, I go, ooh, Rachel. Rachel's like, what do I know? Rachel likes Taylor Swift. Oh, she's totally obsessed with Pokemon Go. And that's enough information. And you know where she likes to go hiking. So you have your personalized information, and you put that in the details around your structure. Your structure it will be the same for every class. Because your structure is just getting that word in. Yes.
Can I say back to you when I understand
Yeah.
all of this?
Yeah.
What I know today. First, PQA, personalization, target, ask something like to do that's the first day. You remember that, using the fodder for structure.
Okay, what I'm hearing you say is PQA. Yes? Gather information, PQA, that's
Sorry,
part.
personalization.
Right. Personalization. All right, go ahead.
And then you add that for fodder for a skeleton.
Yes.
You pick your structure and put it on.
Yes.
You apply, you have an idea, basic outline of the story you want to teach.
Yes.
You go in, compliment the actor, you bring up Rachel, whoever, and
You have an idea, a skeleton, and then you bring your character up, compliment your actor.
compliment the actor.
Uh-huh.
The actor has a problem, you pitch her idea,
Yes.
what's her problem, see how that can fit into your skeleton.
Yes.
You choose the answer that you can, you tweak it to make it work.
Choose the answers that'll work, listen to the responses, yes.
Then you part with your problem and you ask how to do what went where.
Yes.
Why questions.
Bring back and forth. Ask out the questions, go back and forth, class to the character, class to the character. Yes?
You have a request, and the actors move, and then the problem is solved by asking the class how to solve.
Yes, and if you stick to this one, you have one of the 7 structures, so you're starting with one that you can get used to and practice with. Yes? That was a really good summary.
Thank you. I was trying my hardest because I want to do it like you. I want to be able to have it sort of backed up because I know the circle is backed up.
I have been doing this for a long time, and I'm up to about 70 to 80% that it works. And 20, 30% of the time, I'm like, oh my gosh, that did not work. Sorry about that. Like, it's PQA, it's target language, story did not come together, and it's really dumb, and it was kind of died. So you decide what your comfort level is. Are you comfortable with only getting it right 30% of the time? That means 30% of the time you had no lesson plan. You did not prep at all. You walked in with a kind of an idea of a story, and you started talking because you know my entire lesson plan is the 3 structures or 1 structure or 2 structures or whatever it is I'm teaching. And I do not do my backward plan. I do the backward plan at the beginning of the novel, and then I don't plan again at all. Okay, what's your level of confidence that you can try this, even if it's not going to work every time? What's your level of confidence that you can try spinning a story on your feet, personalizing the story, and getting information from the class? Ooh, my goal was 80. 100, really? Still no. Okay, 80. Ooh, 80. Good job. Meeting expectations. Excellent. 80, all right? You can try it. All right, Stephanie, I want you to do it anyway. Okay? Just decide to do it with a really easy class. Tell me to talk a lot in a class that you know really well. So wait, don't do it at the beginning of the year. Wait until you're like, okay, I'm kind of comfortable with this class. Can you take her are gonna say, try this, and then go, you know what, I'm really more comfortable if I already have the story written. This is just one way to do it. Remember, the last hour was spending a story on your feet, and the first 2 hours were not that. You could have taken all those first 2 hours, all that personalized information and student interest inventory, and just put them in a story that you have written that came from someone else's materials, which is fine. Stephen, you're sitting in front of the camera.
Oh,
Thanks.
I am so sorry.
That's all right. Okay, so I have a card for you that I needed to take, and then I want to make sure that things are cleared up. Go ahead.
If I can just make a suggestion of something that I'm not great at, but the thing that makes it easier, if I can remember, is that the story does not have to be very long.
Yeah.
Like if you have 4 sentences and that is your story, or 3 sentences, you're done. You're the master of your story. Your students are doing the same, so don't make it too long early on. Because you'll feel like you didn't get to finish or whatever.
Okay, 2. You already have 2? You need a second?
Yeah, because I already wrote.
Great.
Sorry.
No, it's fine. Okay, anybody else need a second card? Oh, you're waiting for me to tell you what to write on. I have already told you how you can